Welcome to Nugget 58 with Steve Groman. This is a replay of our Facebook Live number 4 on the coronavirus, and this nugget will focus on truck drivers, 3 specifically. 1 that delivers meat across the country, 1 that delivers water, and 1 that handles the mail.
Okay, here we are on our Man on the Street update. I think it's number 4 concerning this. And this particular one, we're going to focus on truckers and the trucking industry in general. We have a number of friends who are truckers in various different ways and haul different things, some over the road, some local. And so anyway, we interviewed some of them, and what do you have to say? Let's give it
we're
up.
going to start out with one of our longtime friends who lives up in the Minnesota area, and we spoke with him, and he's been trucking for a number of years, and he is an over-the-road trucker, which means he goes further than 100 miles from his home. We found out earlier that if you're within 100 miles of your home and as a perimeter you draw a circle around it, then you're local. But he has to follow the rules.
Or regional.
Right.
You're not a local.
What he's been doing mainly is hauling chickens. Chickens from Wisconsin and Minnesota.
But not clucking along.
No.
These are packaged chickens.
Yeah.
Chickens, he hauls chickens and beef. And
he is considered emergency carrier. What is it called? Essential carrier, not emergency carrier. Essential carrier, because he is hauling food. He is working 11 hours out of 14. He has to take half-hour breaks. He said some of the things that he has come across is that can't go into a lot of the buildings anymore. They're putting porta potties out. A lot of this stuff is automated, so they don't deal with anyone in the public. At most of the truck stops, restaurants are closed. They will give takeout, and then also that if they want coffee, they can't take their cups in anymore. He has a microwave and a refrigerator, and so that's helpful to him, and has it in a sleeper. The other day he went to downtown Chicago, and he was dreading it, but he realized that there was no one on the streets, no car traffic. He just whizzed in and whizzed out and got up to northern Chicago, in and out. He is getting stuff basically fresh from the farms and taking it to a lot of Walmart distribution centers.
Yeah, he has said he's had to actually wait for them to finish slaughtering the animals to load his truck.
Right, he was in Omaha at a beef packing plant, and they're still slaughtering the cows that he's supposed to be picking up.
Which, let me interject something about this. Not just this, the majority of these guys would all say basically the same thing. That it is amazing to me. I never knew that there's not a 2 or 3 or 4 day supply of food for this country. It is amazing how by the seat of the pants, or whatever the phrase is there, that it is on demand. I mean, these guys are busy right now.
And he also said that he drives and delivers to Cisco, but a lot of those operations are closed down because the schools are closed and a lot of restaurants are closed. So they're finding new markets in places. Of course, Walmart's is still blowing and going. He said that some of the trailers are sealed by the shippers, and that he never even has anything to do with the product in the bag. But he says that among the guys that he's been talking to, they all just say, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. So that was good.
Let me give an update on one of the other fellas. This guy is a local driver. He gets home every night. But he said a lot of the other friends and the other truckers, the other people, the other drivers all agree that social media and is the way to go for now. All of them agree that they're all doing the same thing. The news is on all the time. Social media is on all the time. That is the connection with anybody and everybody. He said a lot of the carriers, including him, are essential, especially if they're carrying food items. They are considered essential. So
he carries water. He carries bottled water.
Yeah, he happens to carry water. Anything from just pints all the way up to the 5-gallon big containers.
To like Costco, right?
He delivers some several of the major. What do you call those things? Not just the box stores, but the distribution centers and Costco, BJ, Sam's, that kind of thing. Also, he's got a full load all the time. That's another thing. He has to wait sometimes for the load. He said there are a couple of these places. Well, one particularly we were talking about that. They have always had to go in when the driver shows up. They go in, and he said basically they put us in a cage. He said we're in a cage, and he said I didn't like that idea, so he's going to stay outside. But their rules say that you can't do that. Well, he said okay, here's what I'll do. I will disconnect my truck. So he disconnects his truck, disconnects the power, disconnects everything about it, just pulls his rig forward while they unload the trailer, so he can't run off with it. But they've all said the same thing. Essentially, they're hand sanitizer everywhere, and this particular fellow was talking about some of the places actually have blue tape so they can see where they can stand and where they can't stand, because they have to be either behind glass. They can't go person to person, touch person to person anymore. So they have to stay there 6 feet away, or
so they have
or at
tape,
least behind a glass.
tape
So they
on
actually
the
have tape,
ground, so you know exactly how far away you are from
where your spot
people?
is. And
Kind of
anyway,
weird,
but
isn't
all his circle of friends and all the other truckers, they all agree that all this is necessary. None of them are upset. None of them are mad or anything like that, frustrated. They are working hard. And some of the stores that he goes to now used to be once, maybe a week. It's now one, sometimes as much as 3 times per week. He was delivering water this morning. He was there early in the morning to one of these major places, and he said there were probably, the place is not open yet, but there were probably 75 people standing in line waiting to get in. He said they just raid the shelves the moment he gets there. There's not a whole lot of extra surplus laying around of anything. It's all on demand type of thing, so it's amazing.
And he's the one that said he saw the sign that you can't take stuff back?
Yes. As a matter of fact, one of these places, because people are asking what happens when all this is over and people have 43 cases of toilet paper they want to return. Some of these places have signs up already: no returns, don't expect to return it.
Which is a good idea.
Which is a good idea, no doubt about that. But anyway, I asked him, I said, do you see an increase in appreciation for what you guys do? Their value and their worth hasn't gone up necessarily, but the appreciation for them has definitely increased with people. He said, used to be, you just don't interact with people in cars or just people as we pull in. He said now people will actually go out of their way to wave and honk. And
thumbs up.
He said it's like when we were kids, the old truckers, you go by a truck, you do like this, and kids today don't even know what that means.
Oh yeah, we should start doing that.
Yeah,
if you see a trucker, do the horn
thing. Because he said we get it maybe 3 times a week. Actually, somebody does that. But now people are starting to do that even more. And they appreciate them,
That's
so that's
cool,
just a really, really neat thing. But anyway, a lot of the governors have, in the states where he's at, where he delivers.
He's up in New England area.
Yeah, New England. They've gone to the, if you're non-essential, then you got to stay home, period. That's the way it goes. And so he's kind of thankful that he's considered essential, so he doesn't have to stay home. He's got a job security, no question.
And he takes his puppies with him. He takes his dogs with him. They're company for him.
The distribution centers have hand sanitizers at the doors. He said, used to be there would be one, but he said now they're like everywhere. You can't miss them. Him and all of his circle of friends, again, they noticed that all the same. It's all the same. That the truck stops are open. You can get fuel. You can get a cup of coffee. You can take out food, but you can't.
The showers.
You can have a shower. They were thankful for that, believe it or not. And they're also thankful that, sounds kind of crazy, but they've had to put porta potties out at some of these places because too many places are closed. And a lot of these places, one will come into play tomorrow's update, a lot of these places where if they deliver to institutions, schools, universities, and various institutions, they're not delivering to them because they're all shut down. So there's a backlog of some stuff, and they're actually hiring temporary employees to help stock and move the freight into the trucks. And it's an amazing thing that's actually been taking place. Just a couple of other things. He said he's on a couple of major interstates, his main travel up and down the Northeast, where it's just bumper to bumper through Boston. And boy, we've done that trip a zillion times.
Hartford and all that.
Yeah, Hartford, Connecticut, and Boston and all. It's just bumper to bumper. And he said now, nonstop. I drive all the way nonstop. So he's kind of amazed at that. I said, is there any one thing that you would want to have everybody know? And he said he wants people to know that the appreciation and the respect for the truckers, they're thankful for. They don't take it for granted. Too many people are always mad at them, and they're blocking the road or doing whatever, but they're moving. Everything you have came on a truck, and these guys have an incredible job, and they're under the pressure because the stores that are open are running out of stuff constantly, as you know if you've been to one. And some of the other institutions and places that they used to deliver to, or their product would go to, they're not open. So there's this strange mix of things that having to take place all on the fly at the same time. So, but by the way, none of them said that they know of a driver or anybody in their business that actually has the coronavirus. So that's a good thing. Now, some of them have felt a little sick, so they don't go in, but they've all mentioned that they don't know anybody. None of their drivers have been shut down. Anyway, go ahead and do one more.
Well, the other thing I wanted to say was we have known most of these guys for a really long time, and we knew they were truck drivers, but we had no appreciation of what they did.
Well, we appreciate. I've always appreciated truck drivers just because everything gets here
we
on
drive
truck.
on the road,
right,
and we know what it's like to
time.
stand in diesel.
But to have a specific appreciation for what they do.
Right, right.
And
while they're getting up at 2:30 in the morning and going to work, or 3:30 and going to bed at 8, and some of us are just cranking up at those times. Just have a deeper respect for them, I guess is the way I want to say it. And then our third one for today is a dear friend of ours, and he works for the Postal Service, and he manages what is called the air and surface transportation out of a major U.S. city in this nation.
Now, he used to haul an 18-wheeler full of mail.
Right, and he does that on occasion.
He still does on occasion.
Right now, he is in charge of, if the mail is going through this certain area of the country, it is going under his supervision.
Right.
He said that the World Health Organization had put out a thing saying that the coronavirus can't be transmitted via the mail that they know of, but he's also heard things, but he doesn't know that it can stay on paper or cardboard. So that's kind of
for as much as 72 hours, they say.
So he says, we don't know. He says, but the postal workers, they are like really being smart. They're protecting themselves, wearing lots of gear, and then if anybody is just even looking like they might sniffle, that they're pulled off the line, their temperature's checked, and they're sent home. He also said that they're working extra long hours and they're getting overtime, and that a lot of them are, they're considering it that it's going to be, oh boy, what was it? It's like overtime, hazardous duty pay.
Yeah, hazardous duty pay.
We got to realize what these people are
think
doing.
About
they're
the mail.
handling stuff from all over,
all kinds of people.
But
your
he
local
says,
mail carrier touches every single mailbox lid that's there. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah,
the
mail guy that comes around here, I keep telling Steve when we catch him next time, we're going to stop that man. We're going to pray for him. Our friend said it's imperative to move the mail to keep America connected. And boy, don't we know that true? Well, this is the greatest way to keep America connected. But he also said that it's almost like Christmas time in that first class mail has dropped because so many businesses are closed, but packages have gone through the roof because everybody is what he called boredom shopping.
Boredom shopping.
All these people are at home. They're sitting online because they don't want to go to a box store, so they're ordering online. Amazon's going wild, and all these other stores are going wild, so their packages have just gone up, and they're going to have to get more planes just to carry the more cargo. But it was cute. He called it boredom shopping. He said that let me see, anything else? That the produce is, his quote, flying out of California and Florida like crazy. The demand is like through the roof. And he says that because of the product demand, the lack of drivers, the rules have had to be relaxed. He said that there are estimates that there will be needed to be 500,000 more truckers in the next 5 to 10 years because of the demand and the huge turnover in the industry. So if any of you guys don't get to go back to your job that you're sitting home doing this boredom shopping,
it appeals to you.
Maybe you could become a trucker. He's a great driver.
Yeah, but
even according
the Postal
to
Service
wife,
guys, they're all working 6 days a week, 12, 13-hour days. They're just putting in an amazing amount of time trying to keep up because they didn't have all the ability necessarily to handle all the parcels because the first-class mail's gone, so to speak, but the parcels have so greatly increased. It's amazing. The country keeps running along, but there's an amazing shift. We see stores empty on shelves when we go to get some eggs or we go to get some milk or whatever, but that's just the one little aspect of it that we see. There's a huge thing, shift that's been taking place. It's interesting talking to these guys.
Yeah, and tomorrow we're going to talk to you about our interviews with the French Toast 18-wheeler man.
French Toast 18-wheeler man.
And you'll have to tune in tomorrow to find out why he's called that. And a friend that delivers milk to the Washington, D.C. area straight from Pennsylvania farms.
Straight from the farms.
And the third one is a man who's actually delivering steel from Gary, Indiana region up into Canada. And he had a totally different, interesting take on going into Canada and crossing the border and all that. So
we'll get to that
I hope you guys will tune in again to us. We've been working hard putting up lots of nuggets. I think we have 52 of them up. They're not necessarily related to coronavirus in any way, but they are related to the Word of God and creation and to the walk in faith. And we just want to encourage you to go check that out.
And a few fun travel tips.
Yeah, and of course the Saturday fun travel tips if you just really want to get your mind on something else. So thank you so much, and thank you for all of you guys who tuned in and have watched. We have a really close friend that has gotten it, and so we want to pray for her. And then a gentleman that we met years ago at a church, he contacted Steve earlier today and said, "Brother, I need you to pray for me. I'm, really stressing here, and I'm in this thing for 7 days." So
it's an interesting time. No question about it.
We've been busy since way this morning, talking to
Yes.
people and trying to get information and doing our part.
Thank you for joining and watching our Nuggets, and thank you to those of you who join and watch our Facebook Lives on Sundays and on Tuesdays. On Sundays at 2 p.m. Central Time, Steve presents a creation seminar lesson. We are having a great response to this, and we will soon be doing these on YouTube live for our YouTube subscribers that do not do Facebook. And on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Central, Steve does a Walk in Faith lesson, and we are getting great feedback from both of these, so please spread the word. And thank you. As you know, our spring schedule has all been canceled and not sure if our summer schedule will hold. So we are depending on you guys out there and our new listening audience to help support this ministry. Thank you very much.